What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be working on my mom's laptop here. She sent this to me all the way from Arizona. I bought this machine for her. I mean, it's been at least 5 or 6 years, something like that now. It's an HP 17-inch screen. It has the AMD A9 9420 CPU in it. Only 4 gigs of RAM, which was fine back then because it was just kind of like a check the email, browse the web computer. But we're going to update that to 16 gig. And when it came with it, it had a 500 gig platter driven hard drive in it, which was super slow. So I took that out and we put in a 1 terabyte Samsung 970 Pro in it, I believe, SSD. So today we're going to open this up, put the RAM in. Probably going to have to blow it out, maybe do a repaste on the CPU and clear out the fans, and then we will go from there. But like right now, if it's just sitting idle, let's go to the task manager here. And see, it takes a little bit to open, a few seconds. CPU right here is not doing too bad for now. Memory's at about 80%. If we go to the performance here, I mean, we're using almost all of that 4 gigs of memory. So a bottle cap's there. CPU is looking okay for now, but that usually throttles way up, even over 100 for no reason. If I open the resource meter here, if I can learn how to click, I mean, you can right away see the CPU doing goofy things here. And the RAM is going to be pressed no matter what. Actually, CPU right now looks actually pretty okay. But that's usually way up into 100 and more. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to take it apart, blow the dust out, maybe do a repaste of the CPU, and clean out the cooling system. And then I'm actually going to come in here. I'm going to completely back up the data, wipe the system out, reinstall Windows 10, get everything back in there. So anyway, stay along for the ride. All right, so here's where we're going to start. I have her File Explorer up, primary drive here, and over here I have a NVMe external. It's just actually just an NVMe drive in an external enclosure plugged into USB 3.0. So I'm going to transfer all of her data. So I'm just going into users here. That's her profile, and I'm just going to transfer it to this. I'm using one hand. Usually I would drag and drop, but I'm just going to do a copy. And we're going to come over here and do paste. And it will start to copy that data over. Yeah. Need permission. We're good to go there. So that should take a little bit of time. She doesn't have much data in there, but the enclosure that I'm transferring to is USB, so it'll slow it down a little bit. I am curious to know, though, while this is actually happening, what the task manager is looking like and what those read-write speeds are on the drives. So let's take a look at that. All right, for the solid state, not too much. This one's only 8%. Check out those resources again. And as you see, that CPU usage is high. So there's a problem there. It really shouldn't be climbing like that because data is transferring. So we're going to take care of that problem. We're just going to wipe everything out. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let this copy the data over. Once this is done, I will come back and follow up with you. At that point, we will probably be taking the system apart to do the insides. Okay, everyone, I got into the system. If we take a look at this here, I mean, it's not too terrible inside. Got some dust collection along the little speakers there that we'll have to scrape off. It looks like the fan area is a little bit dirty, so I'm probably going to pull that. And here's the memory sticks. We're going to pop that one out and just pop in the kit that I bought for it. Now I got this open using the iFixit kit. This is not a sponsored video for iFixit. I just think that if you're going to work on computers, you should definitely have one of those. So let's start by grabbing this toothbrush here, and I'm just going to kind of go over some things here, just knock some dust off. I was mistaken on the hard drive, by the way. It's an 860 Evo 1 terabyte by Samsung. It's SSD. And I don't believe this actually has a slot for an NVMe. It might be a little too old for that. So let's just go ahead and knock the dust off of this here. See that little label's coming loose. So we might need to adhere that down. It's like something broke there. I'll have to address that later. Shouldn't be a big deal. But yeah, I mean, as far as dust coming from Arizona, it's not too awful bad, actually. Now, there is another tool that I'm going to use here. And that is this, the DataVac electric duster. These are worth their weight in gold. This replaces any canned air. Canned air can get expensive. Now this thing, I can't remember what I paid for it, but I'll put a link in the description below. Another tool you should have if you're working on PCs. So we're going to go ahead and fire this up. Just blow it off a little. And you really don't need much. That takes care of the dust problem. This is the kit that we're putting in, the crucial kit here. So I'm going to undo these. Throw that to the side. We try to open this one-handed because I don't have a cameraman. Here. Try to do this without spilling these sticks onto the floor. Okay, I think we're good here. All right. So then we just line them up, push them into place. And voila, the memory is upgraded. And this can go off to the side. Again, 4 gig stick. Literally probably nothing anybody can do with that. So I'm not sure what I will do with it. But guys, I'm going to wipe this down a little bit more and clean it off. Then we'll get back into the system and we will go ahead and wipe everything out and get Windows reinstalled. Actually, before we do that, I wanted to show you guys, I actually took out the fan here. It's just one screw, pops right out, plugs into the motherboard right here. And I also pulled out the heatsink and the vent. That's going to need to be cleaned out pretty good. That's filled with gunk. But I also cleaned the thermal paste off of that. That goes onto the CPU, which is right here. And I'm going to clean the thermal paste off of this too. And it's actually, as you can see, it's pretty easy to get off there. I'm actually just using an alcohol wipe. I buy these actually at Walgreens, and they're really good for cleaning like the insides of the computers here. So you can just kind of knock that old thermal paste off. And also, if you want to use your toothbrush on that, well, not your toothbrush, don't do this and then go brush your teeth. Get it extra. So you clean that off. It actually comes off pretty easy. Comes right off onto the alcohol wipe here. And I'm going to go clean up this part. And when I get back, I will show you guys how to repaste with thermal paste the CPU and put this all back together. Alright guys, as you see, I've got the fan back on, screwed into place, plugged into the board, and I've got our heatsink all cleaned up. You can actually see through it now. The system's going to be able to breathe. and we've got the CPU cleared of any old thermal paste. So today I'm going to repaste it. It's just with this Corsair TM30. It's actually a pretty decent paste. So on the processor there, it's a lot smaller than a regular processor, so we're just going to give it a little tiny bit here, like even like a half a pea size, and that's going to be plenty. And then once we put this back down, this goes like so. So tough trying to do things one-handed here. And then back on there, line up the holes. And then we will adhere this into place with our iFixit screwdriver. Again, not a sponsored video. And you got to do these diagonally too, kind of like a tire, like a rim when you take it off. You got to do the bolts diagonal. You don't want to just tighten one down and then the next. Whoops, you want them tightened down evenly. And just give it a little snug right until they stop, and they are good to go there. Okay, so that's it. So we have the memory upgraded from 4 to 16 gig. We have the fan cleaned out and all that stuff. Then the heatsink all cleaned up and out. And we've repasted that and just cleaned everything on the inside. So now I'm going to put this thing back together. We're going to boot it up and get Windows reinstalled. Okay guys, so that data backup actually did not take long at all. So what I did after that, I made the USB Windows bootable install thumb drive, flash drive. I will link a couple videos down below on how to do that. There's a couple real easy ways to do it. I'll link those below. So I popped that in here, popped into the BIOS, told it to boot from the USB, and now we're ready to set up Windows. So we're just going to go ahead with that now. So if we just click next, we're going to install now. And I'm sure that some of you have done this before. You know, it will take a few minutes to do. So we're going to just kind of let this play through. If there's some things that I want to show you, I will come back and include that in this video, and then we'll just go from there. Case in point, this spot right here. A couple people may get confused when they get to this spot. So it's asking you, do you want to upgrade Windows? And so it will install Windows and keep all your files, settings, and stuff like that. Or do you want to custom and install Windows only? This option will wipe out your hard drive, so make sure that all your data is backed up. How I like to do this, I like to come in here. I know I have a 1 terabyte drive. That's the one. But I like to delete all these partitions that I can, just so I can get a clean install on this thing. It will recreate a recovery partition upon install. So I'm not too worried about any of that. Let's see here. 500 gig, nope. Let's see that. Windows RE tools, nope. So yeah, we're going to delete. We are just going to keep deleting these. None of these are going to matter unless you are like on a desktop and have multiple drives. But for me, on this system, there's only one drive. So you're really not messing anything up because we're reinstalling everything anyway. And so just keep doing this till you get down to 1. And that is our 1 terabyte drive. And so once you just get down to that, we're just going to click next here. And this is the point where it will go through, install everything that you need. And again, if something pops up that I feel that you guys should know, I will come back. Alright guys, in the setup, you will get to this point here. These were all marked to yes, like this. I suggest you turn these all off for privacy. Then just hit accept. I don't like Cortana, so I tell Cortana to go away. Come on. So all done, just polishing a few things up, blah, blah, blah. And then it basically just build your profile and it will get us into the system here. So once this finishes, I go into Windows, and it should be the same on your end. You'll go into Windows, and that's when you will start just installing the programs that you want, and it's easy as that. And if you have any questions on that, I actually have 1 or 2 videos that tells you what to do after you get your computer going. I think one is you built your computer, now what do I do? I will link that down below, as well as the other ones I talked about earlier. Okay, everyone, so it looks like we are, well, we're not all done. I'm all done almost with this video, just to show you what I did to the system, the partial that I show you of reinstalling Windows. And the last part here, I'm going to show you, we're in Windows now. We do probably have a few things running in the background, which I will clean up here in a bit. But at this point, if you followed along with this, it's time to basically just install your software and configure it the way that you want. And I do have a couple videos on that, so I will try to link those down below. I know one is called like now you built your computer, now what do I do? That's a good guide to follow because once you build it and get to this point, it will kind of show you what to do. But I want to show you here. If we go back into Task Manager, let's do more details. Now you guys remember earlier we had a total of 4 gigs of RAM, and as now you are seeing 16 here. 15.5 means 16 in the Windows world. And look at our CPU. It is way down there. So what we did really helped with this, just cleaning things up, giving it some more memory, and really just wiping things out, because it's been needing this for a long time. It's been time for a couple years at least. But anyway, now, yeah, look at that CPU usage. It's no longer bottlenecking. Things are looking good. So anyway, guys, that is it for this video. If this helped you out, go ahead and click the like and consider subscribing for future content, guys. Thanks.